up, man?
Man, I wish I could get production values like you.
I got more if you want to see some fun stuff before we talk about depressing stuff. Uh, let's look at some old.
I love it. I love it
We'll look
every
at some
time.
old. We'll look at some old school production values number. That was my book when that came out. I think it was 2 years ago. I wrote a book on leadership. All right. This was with me and Mike Farrell. You remember Mike Farrell from Rivals.com?
Yeah, of
Uh,
course.
yeah. So we're still partners on. We do the recruiting services together. But
Right.
we used to do we did a podcast for the first basically year that we started a recruiting service. We used to talk recruiting. What's that one?
That's so not fair. I want one of us. You gotta make one of us.
Okay,
You and
yeah,
I.
that's what, you know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get some clips, some of the clips, put it in there, and like put it as part of a whole intro.
Yeah, I want an intro like that. I want to feel special.
We're,
You
we're,
make
we're,
everyone else feel
we're gonna we're,
special.
we're gonna get intros going. I've been doing so many podcasts, I haven't had time.
I know. But it's amazing the production values, and I mean that's all we really have to talk about is the production values because of the football game. God, I hope the Big 12 presidents weren't watching today. I hope they couldn't find the game on TV.
Thank goodness I'm watching now
You
the
watching?
Notre Dame A&M.
Yeah, you're watching Notre Dame A&M.
Great game.
What's the score right now?
It was 6-6. I think it's still, yeah, 6-6 still.
Frank picked Notre Dame. I did not pick Notre Dame. I think A&M has to win. I mean because they spent $100 million firing their head coach and staff, and I don't even know how much they spent to bring in the new coach and the new staff. So like if they don't win, I mean it's just amazing when
Lost you there for a second. You muted yourself. You muted yourself. You muted yourself.
I know.
There you go.
I got you. Okay. Sorry, I'm a little slow. But I was just gonna say it's amazing how these schools spend money, and it's a fortune on coaching staffs, on facilities, now on players to have a college football program and have a successful one. It costs a fortune. Like
Fortune. Absolute fortune.
I mean,
And
it's ridiculous. Like I used to get mad because at one point Charlie Weiss was getting paid by two schools not to coach. He had signed the 10-year deal with Notre Dame. He got fired 3 years into it. Then he gets hired at Kansas, and he gets fired after 2 years. So the man was getting two severance packages from two
crazy.
different schools. And now Jimbo Fisher, his buyout was 70 something million dollars. No problem. They bought him out. He's got to be on an island somewhere. Like my dream was to coach Division 1, FBS college football. I coached a Holy Cross. I would rather coach FBS, get fired, and get paid not to coach.
I think almost everybody would. When Ed Orgeron, when they fired him, they said Ed, we're gonna talk to you.
He's like, I'm out.
He's like, all right. He's like, we're gonna pay you 17 million. He's like, all right. When do you want me to leave?
Yeah, he didn't care. The boxes in his office were already packed. No, He had no give a shit factor at all.
No,
And the guy who came in after Les Miles and won them a national championship 2 years before, just gone. And I think they were, and I think they ended up in a bowl game that year too. I think they were 7-5, and he still got fired. And Jimbo Fisher, the same thing last year. They had been 5-7, but the problem was his recruiting classes were so good that the expectations were high, and he struggled developing players. And they were 7-5, and that was it.
that was it.
He was done. It's amazing to me.
It is amazing. Uh what I'm watching this Notre Dame game, and it's interesting. I mean, the quarterback Riley
Yeah,
Leonard, the Duke quarterback, right
yeah.
last year.
How
Um,
funny is that?
isn't that amazing? And then the head coach, who was his head coach, is on the opposite sideline for Texas A&M. So that's
Yeah,
wild,
yeah, yeah.
completely wild, completely wild.
But there's, I mean, there's no loyalty
Well, it's
to anyone.
because of money. Well, it comes down to money because
Yeah,
what's
it's all about the Benjamins. I know that. I know
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I know
So
it's about the money.
let's talk the depressing part first, and then we can talk maybe some fun. By the way, there's only one other team more depressed than you. Well, there's a few, but uh, besides UConn, Clemson got demolished by Georgia.
Oh, good. I didn't pick that one. Okay. Frank and
Georgia
I
beat them.
talked about that.
Georgia beat them 34-3.
That I don't, again, I don't know what happened to Clemson. I
Okay,
mean,
well, they won't take transfer portal players.
Sweeney won't do it. That's right. I forgot
That's
about
what it
that.
is. See, he's just not going to be able to compete.
Well, I see. That's what I'm. Yeah, when you same thing looking at UConn, when you take 25, or no, it's 27 transfers, and you have a freshman class of 22 kids. That is a massive turnover. College football teams never used to see that.
I think that's the norm now for the
It
most.
is.
I think that's the crazy part is that it is the norm. It's it's one
When
it's one of those things where if you're not doing it, you're behind. The question is, how do you do it? And after like we talked about in the preview with Maryland UConn, how all the new players were basically transfers
yeah, you were right. Yeah,
from
about
each
them
team.
playing together.
Yep. And so what was interesting? Well, Maryland has obviously a bunch of transfers too, but you got Big Ten transfers, right? Guys that are
Right.
Big Ten caliber ready transfers. Oh, interception by Notre Dame, and then UConn has transfers too. Then they have some guys from big schools, but maybe they were not, the level. And what does it come down to? I bet you if you were to look and see how much Maryland can pay their transfers, and not that Maryland has anywhere near the deep pockets that Ohio State has with $20 million to pay for players, um, current players and transfers. But Maryland probably has more than UConn does, and
Oh, for sure.
and probably has the ability to either identify better guys, or and maybe it's both, but identify better guys, or b allocate more funds, right? So it's really kind of a situation. And so I think that's why, to me, it was pretty shocking that North Dakota State was actually able to hang with Colorado, because that makes me question how good Colorado really is outside of the core, Shador Sanders and Travis Hunter, because
Those are the two guys.
they're two of the best probably players in America.
Yeah.
The rest of the team, it must be average as a whole, because the NDS, even though NDSU is great for FCS, they're probably the 80th best team in the country. You know what I mean? So they're 40 better than probably some of the crappy FBS schools, but as an FCS school, probably 80th or 90th at best in the country. So
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah.
that's probably where they are. But it's you going to UConn game. What was unfortunately, I had the biggest margin, and unfortunately, not only was I more right than
Yeah, yeah, you were right.
but I
You were
under
right by halftime.
I was right by halftime. The sad part was that I was actually wrong because it was much larger margin
Yes.
than even I anticipated a 17-point margin. This margin was 50-7,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's and it was never in danger at any point either. It was
No.
they dominated right from the get go.
Every possession.
Loxley was so relaxed coaching. You would have thought that it was like they were playing against the scout team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
And
I
there
never
wasn't
thought the
any
talent
trouble.
margin was that wide. Like you could see.
The only high moment was on the first drive when Maryland was driving, and it looked like UConn got the fumble, and it turned out that his knee was down or something. But the very next play, they scored a touchdown. It was almost like he was like, "Okay, let's go." You know, like, and they kicked a couple of field goals. Like they used their backup quarterback for a
They
third.
played three quarterbacks. Yeah.
Yeah, Maryland used their backup quarterback for a third of the game.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I mean, they were
They
doing
had
it right away.
zero fear.
Yeah, they did it almost right away. It was the third series they did it,
Yeah.
you know? So, I thought that was telling too. Like he wasn't, even though the backup quarterback was a starter somewhere else. It's telling in the sense that he had zero fear. Like really, never felt like if you felt like at any time it got close, he would just put the pedal to the metal and just finish it off. But he wasn't even really going pedal to the metal. So I didn't it looked like Maryland wasn't that good, but maybe Maryland wasn't even working that hard.
No, it honestly looked, in my opinion, like an NFL preseason game with the
Right?
number of players that they played. They had a plan for plays and series for guys, and they got so many people in. That's what it seemed like. And like you said, the watching Loxley, the head coach, there was no sense of urgency. There was no panic. There was, he was calm, cool, collected, and confident. And on the other side, it either the talent margin is that wide, the gap is that wide, or we came in with a poor game plan and didn't execute.
I just think the talent margin is that wide,
And that's what scares me.
and the quarterback play at that level is not up to par. I don't know about the rest of the schedule, but for that level, they're not up to par. On a positive note, Skylar Bell looked good. Uh,
Yes,
he was one positive note. I
he
mean,
made some nice plays. Yes.
he made nice plays. It's hard to know if Lunt, who's like a NFL prospect, played well because overall the line struggled, but it didn't necessarily have anything to do maybe with him. Just maybe the unit and that group's trying to gel. Defensively, I
We all talked about that
my
defense.
fear was the defensive backs weren't fast enough, and that's kind of what it seemed like,
Yeah.
you know. And that's where in the defensive line struggled to get pressure
Oh,
at
you're,
all.
of
No
course.
pressure.
Yeah.
So what is our speed like on a defensive line? And that would be a great question for Tyler King if he was on. But my guess is he would say that the speed is probably not that good. So, but it doesn't seem like that. And then, it's hard to judge a linebackers because it wasn't really, uh, the other two phases really kind of getting hurt. In the 3-5-3,
I hate that
They
defense.
really didn't even run the ball that much at us. They threw at our 3-5-3,
They
which
they didn't they didn't run the ball, and they still had over 200 yards rushing, which is amazing. And they had, I think, 5 or 6 running backs that played, And I looking at the numbers, they had 600 yards plus of total offense. The starting quarterback was 20 of 27 for 311 yards. And that's like I had said, I've never liked the 3-3-5. It was popular because West Virginia played it well for a couple
Played very
years,
well. Yep,
and
yep.
then everyone tried to mimic it. And you need specific personnel to fit it to make it
Right.
work. The reason you play a 3-3-5 is because you're deficient on the defensive line and you have more linebackers and
It seems like
athletes.
it's a more effective high school offense for the most part, because you don't get those D linemen all the time, so 3 down linemen,
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
you know what I mean? It's hard to
You're
get
lucky
pure
to.
good linemen, d down linemen, um, and so that gives you the ability to, like, do the same thing without having to do anything, and, but at the college level, especially now, the kind of it does put you. I think it's difficult. I mean, if you're going to go with 30 front, you're better off with a 34, in my opinion, because it gives you two safety. It gives you
It's less
two
complicated.
safeties. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
um,
And
and
and you got a guy on the line to set the edge. And that's really important. I
yep,
didn't think they had anyone good that was on the line, physical with the tight end, jamming him, setting the edge,
right,
and that's whoever that person is, whether they the rover or the husky back, whatever we called them.
right.
I just didn't see that, and then the deficiency in the secondary was so glaring. It's scary. I mean, because in my opinion, Maryland is a middle of the road Big Ten team. I mean, they were 4-5 last year in the Big Ten.
Right.
I mean, I don't see them. And maybe they'll be 5-4, but I mean I can't see them contending for a Big Ten championship. I don't think they're Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State level. They're middle of the road. I mean Rutgers. I think Rutgers will beat them.
Yep.
Rutgers look pretty good. So that's what scared me the most is, we're talking Big 12. We have a chance or an opportunity to move to the Big 12. Okay. And we can't play with a middle of the road Big 10 team. And that's why I asked what your opinion was. If it was just the talent level didn't match up, or if we, the game plan, the scheme was bad. And it just seemed it was a talent deficiency. And if that's the case, then you're bringing in 59, 60 new players. I mean, there's no need for that. It used to be, especially when I played, the max I think you could bring in for freshmen were 25. They'd bring in 18 to 20 freshmen, but it was about UConn. When we had success because we developed players. Everyone redshirted. Coach Edsel tried his damnedest to redshirt everyone and give them their fifth year. And that's why you would see their spurts like 2007. They win the Big East championship, piece part of it. They tied for it. And then 2010, they win the Big East championship. And they had some down years in between, but I had Robert McLean on Husky Talk. They went to a bowl game in 2008, the Papa John's Bowl, and beat Steve Spurrier, South Carolina. 2009, I went to that bowl game. That was the
Right.
International Bowl. That was in Toronto, and they beat Buffalo. So that, in my opinion, was why Coach Edsel had success. He kept the players that he had, and we were good at developing them. And it's not about bringing in 60 new guys and expecting them to perform. I still think you have to develop players, even in the new
Well,
model with the transfer portal and everything.
right. I mean, it's interesting because every one of these teams have a lot of transfers. The question is,
Yes, yes, they
like,
do.
what are your transfers like? How do you choose your transfers?
Exactly.
What transfers want to come to you? And then how much money do you have to pay them to come to you? And I think that's the hardest thing is what do you pay them? What is the market rate for the better players? Okay. And I heard
We were very limited with what we could pay, but we did pay.
right.
The
Well, I'm
transfers that
saying
came, we paid,
it was
but
can't
not.
remember which coach said it, but well, I think it was Dion might have said he said it's 50K for a back to get a backup quarterback. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So if that's the case, like eh, raising
that's what
money,
we
big
paid.
deal. Uconn's got we've got to go to a whole nother level, which we're gonna do. We also have to figure out how we evaluate players. And I'm not saying that the coaches don't know how to evaluate players. I'm just saying when you're picking in transfers,
It's a different world.
it's a different ball game. You have to know how to evaluate a kid who hasn't potential maybe played. You know what I'm saying? And the hard thing with college football is if you release a kid gets his release, and let's say a coach calls up another coach and says, "How is this kid?" Well, if you want him out of your program, you're going to say he's
Yeah, oh, he's great. He's
phenomenal. He's amazing. He's
oh,
great.
we
The
just
best.
didn't have a spot for him.
I mean, these guys will lie anyway, right? Half these guys. So, this kid's the best. He's a great kid, great family. I'm sure. And listen, I'm sure that is the case in most cases that they're
From what
great
I
family.
heard, yeah. I mean,
But,
it's true. But I
but it
remember like the old Kansas State teams used to bring in junior college kids. That was the old model. They'd bring in JC transfers, and a lot of teams relied on that. We did that at UConn a couple times. We had a JC quarterback transfer who played very well for us.
JC
So
almost dead
yeah, it is now. There's no need for it. Why?
because
Why?
you're better off reclassing or going to prep school.
Absolutely. Go PG. I mean, why waste eligibility at a JC?
Absolutely. Yeah, from what I saw. So uh, I mean, we struggled with stopping the pass. We did struggle with stopping the run. Um, and I think that,
Well,
you know,
we didn't give the defense a break either, to be
defense never got a
honest.
break. They moved down the field with ease. Um, and it was very clear cut. It wasn't like, other than the very first drive where the fumble was overturned. Um, from that point forward, it was really like, okay, now we'll just score, and
God.
then and they just kept scoring. And I got the feeling we kicked a couple of fields. He didn't go for it on a couple of fourth and ones. You know what I mean?
No,
Like
that was
if
so
he could have went for
irritating.
those, he might have had 34 in the first half. You
That was
know,
yeah. Yeah.
so that would have been pretty crazy. So he could have been 30 plus points in the first half if he. Well,
But
what was the
you're
at?
right.
It was
It,
it was 20.
23 nothing if at the half.
23-0 at the half. Yeah, I think it could have been 30, 37 points at the half.
Easily. Yep.
Yep, because
And
he kicked 3 field goals. So
the time of possession, Maryland 34 minutes and 45 seconds, UConn 25. First downs, Maryland 29, UConn 11. Total yards, Maryland 629, UConn 310. Maryland had 381 passing, UConn had 222, and this is the killer in my opinion. 88 rushing yards we had. Maryland had 248, and they weren't. I didn't think like they were trying to run the football. I
right,
didn't think running the football was part of their game plan. To be honest, I just think they
right.
threw it in there.
Yep. Yep.
and that's what's just wow. And then obviously the turnover battle, we had 3 turnovers. So
Right. I mean, the one pick was pointed out to me. He threw the ball to the back out of the backfield. He couldn't get his hands there to catch it. Pops off because it was slightly behind. We get an interception. The other one we threw right to him, basically. And so I think obviously we're gonna have to fix some things. Luckily we play Merrimack, who is probably god awful. So um,
I remember them. They were a decent
wow,
Division 2
wait,
school.
how about this? So Merrimack, okay, this is crazy to me. Merrimack played Air Force today.
Oh, wow.
You ready for this? Merrimack had 6 points.
Yeah.
Air Force had 21.
Wow, it was a close game.
It was a fairly close game.
And Air Force is good.
Air Force is usually good. What were they last year? Air Force last year
They
was
went to a bowl game.
did they? Oh, yeah, okay.
I thought they won the
Oh yeah, they
that
they
cup.
beat they beat JMU in a bowl
Yeah,
game.
yeah, yeah. I remember watching it. Yeah.
I mean, is
Um,
is Merrimack?
Merrimack. When I was coaching high school, I had a couple kids recruited by Merrimack, and Merrimack was. I went up there, and they were good at the time. They were a good Division 2 school. I don't know exactly when they moved up to one Division 1 FCS. I don't know exactly what conference they're in. Um, but they obviously made a commitment to the program, and they're going to be better than expected. I would say.
Yeah, well,
I
I
mean,
would say
if they played them that tough, you know.
that's shocking.
I mean, nothing shocks me anymore. I was shocked at Nick Evers quarterback play, because the day before, I had on Ryan Gresh, who does the feel good lab at
Yeah,
Uconn. They do all the supplements and topical pain relievers, and he said, his prediction was Uconn was going to go off, and Nick Evers was going to be a star and a stud, and show how great he is to the world. Nick Evers, 6 for 17, 73 yards. I mean, I don't know what to say to that. And Joe Fagano, the player, comeback player of the year, 8 of 16, 149. He threw the one touchdown, but it was in the third quarter, and he also threw an interception. So going forward, do you stick with Evers or do you go with Joe? Now Evers came out, I believe, because of an injury, so we don't know his status. I did get the SID from Kyle Muncie, so I will contact him and request a player for Monday. I'll see who he'll make available. I'd love to get Evers or Cam Edwards, someone like that, um, just to hear their thoughts, because it's so hard nowadays because we don't get the coverage that we used to. I remember, on the Boneyard, they would have a review of every practice during training camp. Like, we would know what was going on. Like, I didn't know. I mean, did you? We talked about it, but we didn't really follow training camp. We don't
no,
know who looked good. We don't know. Like, we didn't. As far as posting news, there
there
wasn't a
wasn't
whole lot
much
posted.
coverage on it, was there? I mean,
No, there's nothing. All there was Fagano being named the comeback player of the year, and I think there was an article when camp started, and then I think there was one more article on Evers. So you're getting 3 articles by your own athletic department. I think that's awful. I think I hate saying that, but you want to promote your program, you want to go to the Big 12, and Dave, you're successful because you produce content.
Yep.
The more content you produce, the more of a following you're going to build and the more reach you're going to have. And I don't know that we're doing that. I mean, I don't know if we have. I know we have content creators on staff. I know we have social media creators on staff, but it doesn't appear like they're doing a ton of stuff.
No, that right, and I don't know
Like I
what
think we're doing more than they are.
that can't be possible. That can't be. I mean, they're
I
well,
believe it.
they have better access, so they're doing the up close and personal. But yeah, I mean, we want to talk about the things that people want to hear, and I think that's a big deal.
Well, we can't go to the Current. I don't even think. I mean, the Current may have a beat writer that covers them, but it's not like. I mean, when I played, they had Terry Price. Terry
Yep.
Price was excellent. He was there all the time. I don't know if the Current's there all the time. I don't know if the Connecticut Post is there all the time. The New Haven Register. I don't know what coverage they're getting.
They wrote. There's 4 articles out from the Current
Oh,
already.
good. Okay.
Donna Morey. I don't know if you know who he is.
No.
UConn opens football season with dismal loss, and Jim Mora didn't like the Huskies' demeanor. Well, I mean, duh. I mean, of course
Did we,
you got to
you got to
subscribe.
pay?
Yeah, you got
Yeah.
to pay. I don't. I can't, how do I even read Donna Mora? Like, I mean, I got to pay to read Donna Mora. I mean,
I wouldn't. That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't pay to read the coverage of the Current. Like,
well, I mean, Jim Mora's comments were basically, we were just inconsistent. You added 51 new players this offseason. I felt the
yeah.
first time since I've been here that we were a little tentative, that we weren't attacking as aggressive. We were a bit wide eyed. That surprised me. That's not how we
I would
operate.
agree with that. I would agree with that. But you
But
have,
isn't that the players you're bringing in?
yeah, yeah. You
Eh,
but they're veterans. It's not like you're bringing in 27. They're transfers. They're not freshmen.
Right.
I mean, Evers has already been to 2 schools. This is his 3rd school. I mean, if you are bringing in a transfer, your expectation has to be they're going to be ready to compete, ready to play, ready to make a difference. Otherwise, why are you bringing them in? Why are you wasting the money? You're
Yeah.
paying them NIL money and you're giving them a scholarship. You basically turned over half your roster.
Well, the problem is that people leave UConn, right? So
Mm-hmm.
in order, you have the
Yep.
seniors that left, plus another 20 some odd guys that left, right?
Yeah, they did. Yes. Yep.
And I don't know if it was for better situations, worse situations, or what, but it seems like that's probably not a good thing either,
No.
right?
No.
So that's part of now everybody's rosters turnover somewhat, but ours turned over really, really high in the offseason, besides the seniors that left. And that's
Yeah.
what and the quarterback, Nick Evers, for the most part, you got a guy who definitely is going to need time, if they're going to give him time, because he basically, like I said, I said off air, he's probably been the backup throwing as a
Yeah.
scout quarterback, throwing picks all day so other guys can feel good, and he's probably been beaten down for 2 years. So, you're hoping that will change, and be able to get him straight. But it's very, very very difficult. Quarterbacks that are older now, a freshman quarterback that could, they can make mistakes. There's room there, but quarterback that's older, that's struggling.
It's tougher to get them back on track.
it's tougher now. Merrimack's a good game to do so. But Merrimack, I
We
can't believe
hope.
how tough Merrimack played Air Force. So that means they probably played it tough, the run pretty tough. We're gonna have to we should have more athletes. Skylar Bell should be better than any athlete
Well,
they have.
Sheffield should be too.
Yeah.
Sheffield, we didn't see him do much today, and those are guys that they were counting on, and they didn't get that production out of them. But like I said, my
Got the
opinion,
ball in their hands either, and it wasn't able to get, the delivery of the ball. Now the question then becomes the schematics that they're running,
exactly. Yes.
like if the talent is not the issue, then is there a schematics issue with
See, I didn't see it. Were they in the gun mostly, or were they under center?
oh yeah, it was all, same stuff everybody else runs.
Okay, so they're in the gun. They're doing the zone read stuff, and that
Yeah.
was the run game.
Turning gun, probably some RPOs, and
They tried to RPO it. Yeah.
it's I think it becomes a situation where what does a quarterback do well? He's not. Is he supposed to be a runner too, or no?
Yes, he's supposed to be a good athlete. Yes,
Okay, and then how many
and
yards
he
did he
he
rush for
he
the
he,
year?
he did rush. Yeah,
How many
yeah.
yards?
He rushed. Um, he he had 6 carries for 13 yards,
Yeah, so
but he had a long of 9.
I
he
mean,
had one. He had
we need
one run for 9.
we need David Pindell back running around back there.
Oh my god, I know. And then the receiving. Um, Skylar Bell had the 5 catches for 141. He had the game. The guy that I was disappointed in was Sheffield. I thought we were going to see something out of him. 2 catches, 32 yards, but he did score a touchdown. That was that. That's who they're spending money on. And from my perspective, Cam Edwards only getting 5 carries. You're not going to win anything with that. He
Right,
averaged
that's the
6. He
backup.
averaged 6 yards a carry. He had 5 carries for 32 yards. Feed him. Just feed him. I mean, you're not going to win by throwing the ball 50 times a game. You don't have that type of
The
offense
problem
or
the
the
problem
talent.
they're gonna get into is they're gonna be playing catch up because defensive back wise, they have a problem. Okay, it's not that they're not good; it's a speed thing.
Yeah,
It's an
yeah,
overall speed thing. So if everybody else's guy is 4-4, now half the teams we play that shouldn't be a huge issue. So I would say half the games are a situation that they're winnable. But the
right.
question is, um, do we have the guys to be able to do it? And are we gonna be able to put them in the best position possible?
Exactly. I think we do have the guys. I don't necessarily think we're putting them in the best situation to succeed. I mean, Maryland's quarterback, Billy Edwards, 20 for 27, 311, 2 touchdowns. Running the ball, it was just a mishmash. They had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys who carried the ball.
Wow,
And they had one guy, Roman Hemby, 14 carries,
he's the best
66
guy.
yards. Yeah, 1 touchdown. And Nolan Ray, 6 carries, 60 yards, 1 touchdown. Though, I mean, that was their running game, and they still had over 200 yards rushing. And then receiving, Ty Felton, 7 catches, 178 yards, and a long of 75, 2
Wow.
touchdowns. It's just, and I mean, I can't, I wish I could speak more intelligently about the game because I couldn't find it to watch it. I don't, were you able to see it?
Did I watch the game?
Yeah.
Yes, I
What
watched.
was it on?
It was on at 12, and it was on ESPN, I think.
Yeah, okay, so you got it on ESPN Plus
Yeah, I mean, I have a
in
lot of
Jersey.
ESPN channels. Yeah, I got a lot
Okay,
of shows.
okay.
So, but
'Cause I was trying to find it and I couldn't
you could,
find it.
yeah, I have Xfinity, and I don't know. I must have
Okay.
a package that has a good amount of those games because I have a million games on right now. Like I only have one
Oh,
TV.
you do?
Well, I have one TV, but I have access to like a million games.
Okay. Okay, so you got, like, one of the packages that
I
you're
must
able
have
to get.
something. Yeah, 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 yeah. When I signed up for
Who
it,
else is who el
my bill's insane. So I'm thinking about getting rid of it. It's driving me nuts how expensive it is.
well, everyone's cutting the cord in streaming now. I mean,
I may cut the cord and stream because I think you can get. I know
that's
you
what
can get
Frank did.
NFL on YouTube. I wonder if you can
Yes.
get. I wonder if you can get all the college games too. If
That's Frank got disgusted with it, and he got YouTube TV, and he's been very happy with it.
is it
Um, yeah, he gets, most of the sports games. He gets ESPN. He gets to watch the NFL games, and then he gets the NFL package at his bar where he watches the games. But he was so frustrated last year during the playoffs because this game's on Amazon Prime. I got to get it for that. This game's on Peacock. I got to get Peacock for a week for that. And
right?
it was
Exactly.
just so frustrating. And UConn, I believe, has a deal with CBS for their home games. That's why I don't know. This was probably covered by the Big Ten on ESPN Plus because ESPN's got the Big Ten network. So, but I that's why, like, not seeing the game and just looking at it, it's so disheartening because you had high hopes coming in, and
Right.
you're hearing news about being able to join a conference, which I think, and we've talked about, we're not going to survive unless we get into a conference
No.
as a program. Financially, we're not going to survive. We're not going to generate enough revenue. And God bless Mike Burton. He did everything he could,
Oh yeah.
and he raised $1 million, and that was the first time that we've ever had NIL money.
That's
But
amazing.
yeah, it is, and he did it with 10 people, and it's not a fraction of what we need to raise to have success. I mean, you're looking at these teams like you talked about, SMU getting $150 million. I mean, that just shows we believe in football. Football's important, and we're going to support it. And in Connecticut, I don't think they understand it yet that football drives every other sport. Football, if you have a good football team, it will generate the most revenue for you. You can win the national championship in basketball, but the revenue you're going to get from it, it's not close to what you're going to get from a football contract
Right.
from being in a conference. And that's what you know I just hope that we still, um everyone says that you see the most improvement from the first game to the second game. So I'm hoping that.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing. So they have to improve dramatically. They have the opportunity. They don't have to play another hammer in their
No,
second game. So they
they
have an
got two
opportunity to
games.
improve. That's a big deal.
Yes.
Um, can they improve? Can they make the changes necessary? And do they get better from this week to next? This is the biggest week. The most important week of every season is week 1 to week 2.
We won the two, absolutely.
That's your biggest gain, you know.
And
And that I think that's what we have to be able to do. I think the opportunities there. I think you're right. We've got to figure out if we can run the ball. The problem with running the ball, if you're behind, you're in a bind,
yeah, you
right?
can't do it. I get it. I get it
But
100%.
if you can keep the game close, absolutely, that's the That's a methodology, and then I think that, um, I think Mora probably looks at it now as like, "Man, whatever I was doing, that wasn't getting them motivated in the right way to come and play, or they
Did
weren't
you
a."
think they came out flat? Did they come out
I
flat?
thought they came out pretty flat, yeah.
Ah,
Yeah, I thought they came out flat. They
yeah.
went right down the field. I mean,
I know they did. I know. It was 14 nothing in the first quarter. I was following it.
it could have
I
been
was
worse. I feel like
yeah,
Loxley almost took his foot off the gas.
I know. It's just you don't know what
Could have
the
been
answer is.
it didn't it was almost as bad as Texas beating up on Colorado State the way they did, you know? Texas beat Colorado State like 59 nothing or something. I mean, that like, but this is Maryland, so
Yeah. It's
it's not
middle of the road.
Texas. Texas is understandable.
It's Maryland was 8-5 last year. I mean, you're giving up 50 points to Maryland, 600 total yards. And it's just it blows my mind. I mean, and then it was hilarious. Like Rutgers plays Howard, and Shiano runs it up on him and scores
Right.
on the last play of the game, pisses everyone off. But
He
I
was
mean,
a
he's
joke.
trying to send a message,
Yep.
and I think that's exactly what UConn has to do.
Yep.
You got Merrimack coming in. You need momentum. You need to drop 60 on them. You need Air Force got 20 on them. You got to get 30.
Yep.
You
I think we
need to
can
show the firepower's there.
throw the ball to Skylar Bell. He had a couple of great throws to Skylar Bell in the corner.
But the question, let me ask you, who do you think um who do you think they should play at quarterback? Do they stay with I mean, I know Evers came out because of an injury, but do you stay with him?
I think they got to stay with him another game. If
I
he's
mean, you're
healthy,
paying him.
you got to see what he can do. Give him a chance to grow. Like I said, he's been beaten up probably his whole career, screamed at probably his whole career that he wasn't, because he was a backup. And in his first opportunity, I think yeah,
Oklahoma State Player of the Year. He
yeah,
was.
I think you got to give him an opportunity to get this. And now the second game, first of all, if he loses, he's definitely out. But if he can win the game and play pretty well, which I think he
He's just
will,
gonna play with
probably.
confidence.
He'll
You got
get some.
nothing to lose. Just play.
At this point, I already I'm already look at it like, hey, figure out who the guys are that you can develop those guys. Okay, try to get them as good as you can, and let them develop because um
What did you think of them up front? Because I heard their tackles are pretty good. Were they solid up front, or were they giving up pressure?
he didn't seem like he was under crazy pressure. He was under some pressure. I don't think he was under crazy pressure.
So, like, if you had to grade the offensive line, you'd grade them probably at a B,
I would say no, C plus.
C plus. Okay.
I, I would say like Skylar Bell, like the receiving unit as a whole would be like a C, but Skylar Bell himself would probably be like a B, B plus.
Were they
Defensive backs
in?
were not did
Oh
not do
no,
well. That would
not at
be
all.
a D.
Oh, there was a huge deficiency.
Linebackers hard to know. I mean, I'll be conservative, maybe give him like a B minus or something.
Well, you're just doing that because you played a
I
little
really didn't pay
linebacker
enough
too.
attention. D line, I would say probably C, C minus.
Now, do you know their nose guard? Did they play a head up nose guard, or were they shading him and
I
having a
didn't pay enough attention to be honest.
yeah?
To the D line. I'm sure I could find a couple clips and see it in 2 seconds, but
I was just curious if
yeah,
they two gapped him or
I'm not
not.
sure. I would.
They usually don't.
if we do some sort of recap on Monday with it, I'll be able to look and watch a little more to really see if that was the case. But I think the biggest problem. I'm telling you, the biggest problem is defensive back wise.
Yeah, yeah, at
And
100%.
they're playing Cameron Chadwick, who I know because he was in New Jersey last year as a high school senior. He's a true freshman starting.
Wow.
True freshman.
How did you have him evaluated coming out? Did you have him as
I didn't know
FBS
that many
guy?
people. I didn't know that many people that offered him, so I was a little
Wow.
surprised. But he must be pretty good because he's starting from the get-go. So, um,
And you thought he held his own in there? I mean, he didn't give up too much?
um, I thought he was okay. For a freshman, I would say decent. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, true
yeah.
freshman,
True
absolutely.
freshman starting. Yeah, yes. But as far as if you were say relative to like the level of what you need, the fact that they're starting a true freshman tells you a lot. Not that freshmen don't start, but
No, I mean, it's
I told
not
him
they start now more than usual, but, no, they typically don't start.
he was a star in his high school team. I mean, he was like the quarterback. He was everything, But and
So he's a good athlete, I
he's a
got you.
very good athlete. Very good athlete. He's fat. He's pretty fast. Oh, Notre Dame's about to get in here. Notre Dame touchdown. They're up over.
Oh my god,
They're up
wow.
on Texas A&M. It's now 12-6, probably 13-6 after this.
Well, Notre Dame was ranked ahead of them, but they were still, the underdog.
Yeah,
And then the Georgia game was crazy. I did not expect that at
they
all.
hammered him. Hammered him.
And Florida Atlantic. So UConn schedule, like I definitely thought that they at least scheduled teams they can compete with and have an opportunity to get 6 wins. And I think they have to. Man, they got to. They invested. I mean, they brought so many new guys in, so many new faces. They have to figure it out. And my personal opinion, I think Cam Edwards is their guy. He's the best player that they have offensively that they can utilize. They can take over a game. But if you're like, oh, that's the other thing I wanted to ask you. Did you notice? Were they in a lot of 11 personnel with a tight end, or did they do 10 personnel and have four receivers often?
They had a tight end, but
Okay,
I mean, look, they were spread, so they
they
were
were really they were all spread.
not all spread, but they used a sniffer and I mean here and there, but
Oh, okay,
they were spread. I mean, they were spread. Everybody's multiple to an extent, but they were definitely spread.
yeah, but they didn't get under center though, is what you're saying.
I'm sure they got under center, but I don't think it was often.
Yeah, yeah. So they're gonna be a shotgun team,
Yeah,
and that I just again Randy had the formula for winning at Rentschler Field. He
right,
knew to take advantage of the elements. He knew the grass. He knew we got to run the football. We got to play tough defense. And I'm going to play field position. And that's what he did. And that's how he had success. And if, three down linemen, you gotta have three, you gotta have one stud inside that can
right,
take control. And
right.
then you gotta have your five linebackers who can come like a bat out of hell because you're bring the whole purpose of the 3-5 is it's a pressure oriented defense. You're bringing 4 or 5, and you're playing 3 under 3 deep or two and 20 24. I mean that's usually what you see. If you're just sitting in the 3-5, you're going to get destroyed. The whole
Yeah,
purpose of it is movement and blitzing, and disguising it and not knowing where it's coming from.
no doubt. The comments, by the way, are hilarious, dude.
Oh, we
Hila-
get comments.
Oh yeah, we get lots of comments. They
Oh,
call us fat. One said NDSU is the
poop, doo doo, fat,
one said
unfollow.
NDSU is the Alabama division.
I don't
Uh,
know what's going on, but go Chiefs.
Dude, I think it's so hilarious. The comments. One thing about comments, you can guarantee that most of them are going to be negative. That's
Cat
the
Adventures. Why am I doo doo? Why am I a fat doo doo? I'd like to know. I don't want to be unfollowed. Why can't you just be nice to me? Just be
they don't
nice
care.
and love me.
No,
No,
no, they won't do that for you. They won't do that for you.
they
Too
won't
much.
do that.
No, 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 no. They won't do that for you. That's hilarious.
We're gonna have to let you do Rebel Republic and then see the comments we get for that.
Oh my god, I think the comments are the funniest thing ever. I think they're so hilarious.
Oh, I'm looking at them now. I can't get over this.
I like when
NDSU. Okay, so someone disagreed with you. NDSU is Alabama, their division. Football is the worst
well,
sport.
they. I didn't say they weren't the Alabama of their division. I said they're in the country. They're
Yeah,
probably
yeah, I agree with you.
they're 80 or
If you put
90.
them overall, absolutely. Football. Concept 13 said football is the worst sport. Yeah, yeah. I mean, we are right now. I don't know what to tell you. We are. We're an independent. We have 50 something new players, and we got dismantled by a middle of the road Big Ten team. So I
Probably,
agree with you.
yeah, probably. I don't know. What would you say they're ranked overall? They're probably like top 50, maybe in the
Yeah.
country, Maryland.
And Concept said, just be quiet because your voices are hurting my ears. I'm sorry, Concept. I'm not trying to hurt your ears. I just want to be loved. We're just trying to be loved.
Yeah,
We're just trying to analyze
if you're
UConn.
on with us on Saturday night, there's probably something wrong with your social life anyway. So you know what I mean? Like, I mean, if you're actually on here listening to us, that means that you either A, live in your mom's basement, or B, you're
You can't insult our listeners.
you know you must, you
Yeah,
must.
how you can't insult
I'm
our
not joking.
followers?
They must be drinking heavily to be watching us on 10 o'clock on a Saturday night.
I'd
You know.
watch us. We're entertaining
Also,
than most people.
oh yeah, no doubt.
You're not going to get a higher entertainment value than you and I.
Certainly not on Saturday night unless you go out to the club. You know what I
Unless
mean?
you're going out to the club. But just be quiet because your voices are hurting my ears.
Oh well, you know.
Concept 13. Okay, let's see the new comments. Haha, why am I a doo doo? You all are actually hilarious. Oh, thank you, Baba. Baba
Yay, we got a
Yaga said
fan.
that.
We got a fan.
Oh, Baba, he said, are you all still talking about the NFL or what? I'm so confused. No, we're not talking about the NFL.
We're
We're
talking
talking about
college
UConn.
football. College
Yeah, we're
football.
talking about
But
UConn.
we do agree with you that the KC is great. So
Yes, yeah, we do. We
there's
do.
no one there's
We're
no one
just
that agrees with that.
we're just trying to get to the bottom of what UConn has to accomplish to get into the Big 12 and to win some football games this year.
My
Baba.
question is, do they have to if they had a bad showing this year, would that hurt us
Yes.
getting yeah?
Yes. Yeah.
Or is it more about like yeah, yeah.
Well, cuz the whole
More
thing
about
is
getting back well, because basketball's not gonna go in event right away, right anyway, so
no. No,
so
basketball would wait.
it's not about eh, they want basketball, I'm assuming.
Yes, basketball's coming. Basketball's part of the deal. But basketball wouldn't go until 2031. Baba says, "Oh, I got it. I'm not a college football fan, so you have a great night. God bless you both."
Alright, good.
Sorry, Baba. We do talk NFL football on other nights, so we'll let you know. We have money line on. We'll probably do it Monday night, so you can get all your fix for the NFL there. I
I gotta put
apologize.
out some of your money. I think did you send me Moneyline episodes that I wasn't in? I don't know what the
Yeah, I sent you the
oh,
one that we weren't that we didn't have you on, but
oh, okay.
we'll
What I
do the
got
new.
kicked to the curb already?
No, 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 it was just because of the recording schedule.
Oh,
Because
schedule,
Frank
that's right,
doesn't
the
wanna
schedule.
do it he can't do it every night, so we're gonna do 2 a night. So my idea was Monday night, we'll do the Woo cast first, and then you'll be home by 9, and then we can do Moneyline after
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
WooCast, the Woo.
yeah, and they're on a roll, by the way.
Oh, are they really on? They're on a roll.
Yeah, yep, they're on a roll. They're in 2nd place now.
Oh, wow.
Remember we talked last, they were
Yeah,
in 7th?
only like, that episode I was on, they were way out.
They were
Well,
way
I
out.
think I did say it wasn't, baseball, they weren't that far out, but
No, there was a log jam in there, but they were in
yeah.
7th, and then they went on a run, and they
Wow.
dominated Norfolk and, Toledo, and now they're in 2nd place.
Maybe they listened to when I talked about what it takes to get out of a slump, you know what I mean?
That's what I said. I said, "We made the difference."
That's it.
I said, "Chad, the manager, Chad Morris, he owes us. We made the difference. We did it all."
That's it. Well, you must be the authority on the Woo. They must, do they get oh, well, you're not there, so you don't get access because 'cause you're not there, but I bet
No,
you
no, I went twice. Yeah,
oh, you did? You went
yeah.
twice, okay.
Yeah, I got access. Yeah,
You get
they
carte blanche what do you get? Do you interview the players after, or you just kind of
You gotta go before. You gotta go before to interview. Yeah, we actually got an interview with, Trot Nixon when he got inducted into the Hall of Fame, for Boston. He came down for a Woo Sox game, and we got to interview him for WooCast. But, my co-hosts, I think you met them, but my
yes.
co-hosts they're coaching at Worcester Academy, so they have not been able to participate because, their season's starting.
Oh, because 'cause they're also football coaches, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So we're gonna do some sort of.
Is Worcester Academy a, PG school too?
They're limited with the PGs they can take. I think he gets like two or three,
Okay.
which drives him nuts. But somebody donated $36 million, and they're gonna have an indoor facility. They're gonna have an indoor practice facility.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Massachusetts, because I've spent a lot of time there. Mass has like the best prep schools
Yeah,
around. Mass in Connecticut, but
right.
you're paying $50,000-$60,000 to send your kid to prep school, and then you know if he doesn't go to an Ivy League school, it's like you're wasting your time and your money.
Is Worcester, Academy right in Worcester, or is it on the outskirts?
Oh no, it's right in there. It's right.
Really?
Yeah, but I mean,
It's a beautiful campus. Wow, I'm looking at it.
it's not though, but
Oh, it's not? It looks
well,
beautiful.
no, it is. The good part is, see, Holy Cross and Worcester and Worcester Academy are very smart. Worcester is not the safest, nicest city in the world.
Right.
So Holy Cross has like a gated campus, and it's beautiful. It's on a hill. Worcester Academy is gated as well, and it's beautiful. But as soon as you walk outside that gate, you're in hell. That's the problem with it.
That's the problem with it. I
Yeah.
wonder, going back to, thinking about UConn, I wonder, correct me if I'm wrong, but I wonder if, I don't know, like New Balance has been so involved in Massachusetts sports, meaning like Boston College, um, all over. Like, I wonder if you is the Nike does a Nike partnership help them? I guess it does in
It
basketball.
used to, yeah.
In basketball, it must help
We
you out.
had, we had Reebok, we had Nike, and then my
Well,
senior year,
yeah,
we were the only team in the country that had Aeropostale.
I remember that.
No, you don't. Please
Oh
tell
no,
me
I
you don't.
remember that. I remember when you guys had
Oh god.
that had to be a bad move.
Oh, I was so embarrassed. I
That
was
had to
so
be
embarrassed.
embarrassing.
It was. It was a little embarrassing to have Aeropostale and
Why did they go with Aeropostale? Is
you
it
know what, Dave? If I knew that, I'll have to text Randy and ask him. I'll ask Randy why do we go
you must have got
Aeropostale?
a good kickback for that one.
Well, the Reebok stuff was awful. I mean, the
Well,
Reebok was horrible.
we had Reebok. What did we had Reebok when I played.
Yeah,
When I
I never
played,
liked the Reebok stuff.
I wasn't a huge. It was. But listen, the good thing for you guys, at least, you weren't there during the Converse era.
Please tell me there was no Converse era.
Okay, so I got to tell you the story because I just remembered it as we're
Please tell me
talking.
there cannot be a Converse era.
My first before Skip Holtz came in, we wore Converse cleats. Okay, now here's how bad they were. Here's
Are
how
they
bad,
canvas?
this is how bad the Converse were.
I,
And I know, right? You think of the basketball cleat, but that's probably why they had Converse. But so here's how bad Converse was. It was so heavy and slow because I was originally a fullback those first 2 years.
yeah,
Right.
right.
So those cleats were so bad that I bought myself a pair of Nike cleats. Okay.
Yeah.
White cleats, just like our Converses were. I bought myself a pair of white
Oh, and you tried to cover
and
it up?
I taped them up so you couldn't see that I was wearing Nike
Yeah.
cleats.
We had guys do that too. We
Yep.
had guys do that too.
I
He
was
had to
like,
cover
I
the
ain't
logo.
wearing this shit. I
They they
ain't
would they
wearing
would
this shit.
they would purposely get it spatted so they wouldn't have to wear it.
I would be
Oh
like,
my god. But
I was not
the
wearing that shit.
what were the jerseys though? The jerseys weren't Converse, right?
The jerseys were Wilson.
Oh my god, it was that old school. You had the Wilson
Wilson.
jerseys.
We had Wilson jerseys. I don't know. I think we went. Yeah, and we went to Reebok when we went to all Reebok. I remember that was a big deal when Holtz got us all
Was
Reebok.
Lou there when you were there?
Yep.
Okay, Lou was the one that got things going. Lou
Yeah.
was the
Oh
one
no,
that
Lou's the greatest. Was well, God rest his soul. Was the
I
greatest.
know he was. The nicest guy. He'd come in the locker room after every game. He knew the names of every player. Blew my mind.
Yep.
Just a great guy. I loved him. I
Oh,
loved him.
Lou Perkins was great. Great. Former.
I actually I liked you know who was actually nice was Manuel.
Almost an interception when we went to the house. Who would you like?
Ward Manuel was
I see,
very
I don't know
nice.
word. Yeah, I don't know word. He was with you?
Ward, yeah, I was coaching at Holy Cross,
Oh, okay.
and I talked to him several times, because you know they were trying to fix things after the Diaco fiasco, and he actually had interest in our athletic director at Holy Cross, and I was actually close with our AD. I watched the Super Bowl with him at his house. He was a great guy. He was from Maryland. He was an assistant AD at Maryland.
Okay.
His name was Nate. He's at Air Force now. He's still at Air Force. He's the head AD at Air Force. Great guy. Nate Pine was his name. But Ward Manuel, I'll never forget, called my cell phone and I didn't answer. It was an 860 number, but I didn't answer it. And he called back and he told me who he was. And I was like, come on. Like, what are you doing with me? He's like, I want to talk to alumni and get their feedback about the football program because, you know, he had wanted to get back to where we were. You know, we had Coach P and then Diaco and that conflict trophy. Remember the civil conflict with Central Florida? We created our own rivalry.
Craziness.
It really was. It really was madness. It really was madness. Oh, and I gotta tell you who the SID is that I have to contact. I got the information from Kyle. Kyle said that they'll make someone available, and he gave me the name. I never heard of this person. Um, okay, it is Bill Peterson. William dot Peterson at uconn.edu. So
Okay.
that's who I have to email to get our guest for Monday. So hopefully we'll get a good one. I mean, why not? I mean, someone will be available. I think he's got to give us. I mean, I've never done this before. You have. So when you go to an SID, and if you request an interview with a player, do
Hmm.
you like list a couple of them,
You
or
can.
or
You
do you
can.
just ask for whoever?
Yeah, I mean, you can ask for whoever you want. Who are you gonna ask for? The running back and
Well, I was
Evers?
gonna ask you, who do you want me to ask for? I like the running back, but I'll ask for 3 guys. And
Ask
if he
for the
says
running
no,
back, ask for the quarterback,
all right.
ask for,
Do you want the receiver? Bell?
you can ask for Bell, yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll
Maybe
try to ask for him.
you might be
It
the one guy feeling good.
well, yeah. I mean, it's Monday at noon. All they need is a computer, right? They don't need a microphone. They can talk without a microphone, and if not, they can use their phone. You
Yes.
put the app on your phone and you can use it. So I think it
Or you
should be
can get
very easy
You
for
can
him.
get Lunds if the lineman if you wanted.
He's very good. Yes. Yeah. I'll put him down. I'll put him down for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
he probably 100% would be on, available.
I'll put him on for sure. I have two. I also have two requests to come on. Um, if you have time, depending on how, I mean, we'll get a segment out of them. Um, Eric Bechtel wants to come on.
Okay.
He's the guy from Idea Quest, who also would be a sponsor. And then the guy who sponsors my show, Sean Rabinowitz, he wants to come on. Um, so if we fit it in, we fit it in. Why
Okay.
not? I think
Yeah.
it's good I think it's good that they want to come on. I mean, they they like the show. They legitimately watch the show. They like it. They think it's good information. Sean texted me all game. He was furious. he, he was just disgusted. He was like, "What? Like, because Sean donates. Sean's a big donor. He has his own company. He was my first sponsor. He was a rugby player. He does Procyon Partners. It's a financial
Oh, of course
services
I know.
firm.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and he donates. He's a big donor. He donates to the School of Business. He donates to the athletic department. He donates to football. Um, and he told me he said he wanted his money back.
Wow.
He said, "I want my money back after today."
Ugh.
I mean, you got to admit though, but so many of these kids are getting $1 million deals. I mean, if the quarterback's getting 20K, 50K, the receiver's getting 20K, 50K, it's you're going to get what you're going to get. And I agree with you that sentiment. Okay, instead of
I'll
going,
tell you who UConn should go get right now. He's only a sophomore. I don't know if well, depending on how Moore does this year, who knows what the deal will be, but I'm hoping he does well. So I'm saying that. But um, there's a player in New Jersey that's a sophomore starting quarterback for Seton Hall Prep. That
oh,
yeah, that is he's already got a few offers already. But
God, that's crazy.
he in his first game before he started, he already had a few offers. But in his first game, they won 36-0. His first game as a starter,
Yeah.
and he supposedly lit it up. And
Did you
I,
see him?
oh yeah, I know him. I
Oh,
know him.
you know. Okay.
I know him. He's from the town next to me. He used to come to my camps when he was a young kid. I know him. I know him very well. I know his parents. I know his parents. I know.
Is he more of an athlete or a
Oh,
thrower?
he's a thrower,
Oh, okay.
and
He's
he
a
can
big guy.
run. He can run, but he is a thrower.
Okay.
He's a thrower. His name is Caden Davis.
So
But
he lit it up. So he must have.
oh, he lit it up. Like everyone was waiting to see, like, okay, is he like he was like a really good player, youth. I think I want to say maybe he reclassed in 8th grade, so he can mature a little bit physically, and but yeah, he looked pretty good. I mean, there's a few. I'll give another one that I thought UConn really should have gone after. They didn't. He committed to Buffalo. And UConn probably didn't take him because maybe his 40. I don't know what his 40
Uh,
is, but he's not slow. I mean, he's just
yeah, I know, but the problem is
but
whoever
he
recruits
just lit it up.
Jersey,
He
you
plays for Del.
know.
He plays for Del Barton. He just lit up. He had 250 yards receiving first game. Now he's a senior. He's already committed to Buffalo, but he was very good last year. And so I
But
mean,
that's what bothers me
how
is
about this?
you,
UConn has a former running back. I don't know if you know the name Lenny Dandridge, but Lenny Dandridge played at UConn when I did. He was a running back,
okay.
and then I think he finished maybe as a DB, but he was a running back originally. And his son plays on that same team with Fulmer, who had 250 yards receiving. He's their tailback, but this is his first year full time starting. He's been a split.
Oh,
There's a guy ahead of him that he rushed. He rushed for like 500 yards each year as the backup, but now he's full time starting. But like they don't even talk to him.
well,
So
that's my issue is they
now
have
that kid doesn't have any offers because he was he was
the backup.
yeah, but he played. I mean, Del Barton went to state championship last year.
Oh, wow,
New
okay.
Jersey. Yeah, they're good. So Seton Hall Prep's in the same conference as Del Barton and Bergen Catholic and all those. But yeah,
Okay.
there's quite a few guys. I just don't think that whoever I don't know who recruits New Jersey for you.
That's what bothers me. Whoever
But
recruits Jersey, we have a resource in you who knows the talent, who evaluates the talent, and who can send them their way, and they don't contact you. Like we could be getting kids out of Jersey. We have a resource, and we're not taking advantage of it. And I don't. It's the same thing. Like you don't even know who recruits Jersey.
I
That's
have no.
bad. That should be known, and like they should be coming to you and asking you about kids
Yeah,
because you have contact with all of them. You know all the schools. You know all the coaches. You know all the talent. You've evaluated them. You ran
I've
camps for
seen them.
years.
Yeah, I've seen most of them.
I don't get it. Like if they had a resource, use it.
And I know all the coaches too.
That's the thing. You know everything.
So like if I don't know the kid directly, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know someone who does.
I probably know their coach.
Yeah.
So because obviously we interview a lot of coaches on my regular podcast.
Yes, I saw that. I
I
saw.
mean, we run the gamut. Listen, for example, they would never get him, but like Plaxico Burr's his son plays for DeBall Catholic, and
Oh,
he
okay.
just he's got probably has a million offers. I think it's Elijah Burgess. But he has, let me see, Elijah. What does Elijah have offers wise? I'm sure he's got. But you know what the funny part was? It took a while for Elijah Burgess. He's going to Notre Dame. So it took a while for him to get his offers originally, though. That's the funny part. So, because I think he was maybe splitting time as a sophomore, maybe, and then last year was his first year full time starter. But he's
right.
just a mega stud. And then, all these teams like Like we have the Seton Hall Prep, that same team that Kane Davis plays on. There's a middle linebacker, Cook, that's fantastic. That I don't know. I don't know. I guess they just weren't interested. They should be looking at more of these guys. Um,
Yeah, of course they should be,
but
and that's what drives me nuts.
I think because they're taking in all the transfers,
Yeah, it hurts
it,
the
it, it affects it in some capacity. And I don't know enough to know. You know what I'm saying? So I really just don't
No,
know.
we don't
Don't
know.
know enough to know. I know they've got a GM now, so
Yes, they do.
I don't know him, but I'm assuming eventually that's going to start to move in that direction, where the GM is going to have a much more bigger involvement in recruiting and um,
Well, I think you have to. I think you have to you have to have a group that focuses just on the transfer portal.
yep.
You have to have recruiters just for the transfer portal, coaches just for the transfer portal, so you're prepared. And now, if you saw the NCAA's ruling, they are going to restrict. Um, they're going to restrict the transfer portal to only being after the season. So
Okay,
instead of having it in the spring as well,
got
they're
it.
gonna yeah, they're gonna have it. They're gonna just have it one time, which I think is good actually. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that is good. I think that is good. I mean, and I think regulation to an extent is going to come in there. It's just you know how they end up regulating it and what they do, and but I think for UConn in general, the biggest thing is I think head coach now, as much as it is head coach on the field, I feel like it's really truly a CEO. I feel like it's
you have to be. Yes, I agree with you.
I mean, they are really CEOs, like, and of a large organization financially, but their own world is much smaller than a big company. But they have a lot more things they have to take care of. But you're really a CEO. Like,
You are.
I know some of the guys still call plays, but the truth of the matter is, like,
You can't do it.
I think in the modern era, like why do you
It's
think
got to
Ryan?
be structured like an NFL front office.
It's got to be structured like that, and you have to have a really good front office because there's no way you're going to be able to call plays as a coach if you don't have a really good front office. If you can get a really good front office, then you can CEO and maybe you can call plays like a Chip Kelly used to do. But obviously, Chip Kelly gave up being a head coach just because he wanted to really just call plays, right? So
He
that
did. Yeah.
joins Ohio State, gets a few $1 million, sacrifices some money, but wants to just coach football, right? Whereas Ryan Day probably was like, you know what, it might be time if I could give up play calling, let me give up play calling so I could CEO this damn thing. So
And the staffs are so big now. They're unlimited. Why
unlimited,
not? I mean, you can have 40 coaches if you want. When
absolutely.
I was watching the Hard Knocks, and I can't believe the coaching staffs. They literally have a coach for like every position. They
Every
have a
position.
tackles coach. They have a guards coach, centers and guards, tackles, tight ends. I mean, receivers, assistant receivers, running backs, assistant. Like it blows my mind because back in the day it was just like they had 9 guys, 10 guys. That was it.
That's it, right? And then everybody else, and they were not allowed on the field.
They
And
weren't allowed on the field, and Michigan got in trouble for that because they had their analysts on the field. Oh, did you? By the way, did you happen to watch the documentary on Michigan on Connor
no,
Stallions?
no,
You got to watch it.
it's good.
It's really good
I
on
heard
the sign
Portnoy's in
ceiling.
it, right? Portnoy's in it.
Portnoy's great.
I heard he says Connor Stallions. Yeah, he's responsible of everything. The Kennedy assassination. He's responsible for
Well,
everything.
he had Connor Stallions in his videos,
Oh, he
and
did.
when he was doing the pizza tasting, he
Yeah,
would have Connor Stallions in him in the videos, just like walking out, and nobody would notice it was him. But some people picked up on it. Like he did it just to troll with people. He would put Connor Stallions in the videos. I thought it was hilarious. And Connor, he basically denied. He said that he decoded everything himself. He denied that he went to games and did in person scouting. He denied that he sent people to games to do in person scouting. But he did admit to, like, this dude was brilliant. He developed a spreadsheet of every signal he ever saw, and that's what he each game he would put it together for whatever team they were playing,
that's
and he had
incredible.
something. If you watch it and you see the work that this kid put in, and his dream was obviously, to be a head coach, and now he does not come off at all as a bad person, as a bad kid. He just comes off as someone who is ambitious.
Very ambitious.
And now he's a DC at some high school. And I hope that he gets another chance, because it seems like he's a good coach. It seems like he had an impact on what they did. Now, obviously, they won without him, but I obviously I think the investigation's ridiculous. He said everyone does it. He said what he found was everyone. There's an underground sign stealing group that communicates with each other. All the teams have them, and they communicate with each other.
Oh,
You
so they
know,
say, "Hey, these guys are doing this, and these guys are doing that."
yeah, like Ohio. If Ohio State is playing Penn State, they'll have somebody at Maryland who would go over some of the signals with them that they decoded, and then they would put them all together. So,
That's incredible. Well,
yeah,
I'm that's incredible. I'm starting to zonk out.
yeah, I
Uh,
know. Me too. We're good.
dude, great,
I,
great, great show.
I'll contact the SID. I will ask for those 3 guys, and then we're on for Monday at noon, and then we'll see what happens tomorrow. You gonna be watching the games tomorrow?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, yeah, the G-men and all that, and then I gotta go show Frank how to set up a YouTube channel. See
Oh
if
my
he
god,
can
I
do
got
it.
him hyped. I got him hyped up.
You had to do that. You had to
I
do
should
that.
not have done that.
Well, you know why you didn't have to do that? Because who's gonna have to do the work for it?
You
Me.
are.
I am. He doesn't know how to do it, so I'm gonna have to go and set up his YouTube channel, show him how to film it,
You should,
and
if you want it, you could tell Frank if he's got the pockets for it. I'll consult with him and get him come up there
get him started.
and well, I mean, setting up the channel is not really hard. You
No,
may
I
be
know
able,
how to do it. I did one.
but
I
getting
just stopped.
showing him what to do to get
Yeah.
himself to go viral.
He would definitely pay for you to come out for a few
If
days
he
and do
wanted to
that.
do that, yeah.
I'll tell him that. He would love that.
If he really wanted
You'd
to,
make
like,
the trip.
I'll give him a crash course on it, and then we'll go through some like run throughs of what he could do, and I will show him how to do it. And if he follows the formula, because Frank's got a good personality, and you know what I
Well, and
mean,
then you got to show me then too.
then I'll
So
show it to you.
I'll throw. We'll both throw
You're
in.
gonna
We'll
you
bring
might
the.
have to throw it to me. You have to tell
We'll
Frank to
both
pay
pay
for
for you,
both of you.
and then you can tell Frank his pizza stinks.
Well, I gotta try the pizza. I definitely gotta try the pizza.
You can have the pizza at his place. But yeah, no, I will tell. You know what? That would be hilarious. Um,
I'll
I,
show him exactly what to do. You
when
know,
would you? What are the best days for you to do it? Because I know your kid plays. When would you be like? What days would you be available or
well,
easy if you came for like 2 days or a
yeah.
day?
If I bet you the best thing to do would be after his game on a Sunday.
You would
One of these
come.
one of these weeks to come up there because we don't practice on Monday when school starts, which is this
Oh,
week.
okay. So
So
that would be the way to do it. Come
that
up
would
on a
probably
Sunday
be the way
night.
to do it. Yeah, so I'd go up Sunday. I could stay
Yeah, yeah,
and
I'd have you
I wouldn't
stay.
have to be back till probably, I mean, if you needed me,
Oh,
I could
that'd be
stay on
fun.
Monday. Yeah, Monday
That'd be
evening.
so much fun. That would be fun. We'd be doing the podcast at his house.
Oh, that would
That
be
would be
great.
freaking
That
hilarious.
would be a great time. But yeah, I
And then
mean, I
you could
definitely
show us both how to do it.
there is a way. Like I don't utilize some those techniques because I'm not a food person. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking.
No, but you know what?
I would show him exactly how to do it,
Yeah.
and it would, now you've got it, and how many videos he needs to do, and how
Yes.
often, and if he does
And
all
he'll do
that,
it. Yeah.
if he does it all, I would say it would take him probably a few months.
Few months. Yeah.
He probably would go by just, everybody has to have a certain my whole thing is personality, which he has, obviously, just like
Yes.
you do. You guys have great personality.
Yeah.
And then he has to have a good niche, which he does. He's
Which
got a
he
good
does. Yeah.
right. So those two things combined with it, what I show him how to do it, if he just follows the formula,
Oh my
I think
God, that's gonna be great.
within a few months,
Oh,
yeah.
he'll love it. He'll love
Yep.
it. I will tell him that for sure. I will that would be I can't think of anything that would be more fun than that. If we got you up here for a couple days, we got to take you to a smoking guns bar,
Oh, I
smoking gun
love it.
saloon. Oh, if you got to meet, his 90-year-old dad scared the hell out of me.
No.
Um, Frank was one of the only local vendors that had a booth at Woodstock. Woodstock was here
Right.
in Rome, New York.
Right.
I He needed workers, so I helped him get workers. It was myself and my high school friends that worked. Now
Oh, wow.
we were just messed up the whole time.
Right, right,
But and
right.
he paid for us to get in. It was $150 for us to get in. So he paid for us, all of us, to get in, and we worked. We worked 8-hour shifts, but we were all messed up. And so I got stuck with the worst shift one day, and the worst shift was the 6 p.m. till midnight. That was when it was the busiest and the craziest. I'm working with I don't know his dad. His old man just shows up. And there's this old man. Now it's 90 degrees. He's got a long dress shirt on and he's got long khakis. And he is working. He's making calzones. He's making everything. He's working like a madman. I'm like, he's out working everyone. I'm like, who the hell is this? And then someone said, oh, that's Tony. That's Frank's dad. Like he's a maniac. And then he's yelling at me to go faster because I'm not going faster. Let's go faster, faster, faster. I was blown away, blown away. The house that Frank has, he built his house on the profits from Woodstock
That's
because
incredible.
while the riots were going on, by the way, which I was part of starting, the riots were going on. He was the only stand that stayed open and he was still selling while the riots were going on. There's fire here, fire there. Frank's here's calzone, here's your wrap. That's when he made the majority of his money during the riot. So you can
That's incredible.
we'll talk to him. We'll talk to him about that for sure on Monday.
That would be great. Oh my god, that's incredible.
It
That's
is. It is.
absolutely incredible. That's an
It is.
incredible story.
And it's true. It's true. His dad scared the hell out of me, and we worked through the riot and made the most money. And I'm pretty sure I started the riot. So
Wow.
that's how we can end the show.
Until next time. That deserves some of the great graphics at the end.
Well, if when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges and throw them back at life.
That's it. Till next time.